Local support for a portion of today's programming is provided by Wells Fargo. Our support of Aggie students goes beyond just banking. By supporting News 22, we're giving back to the community. Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far.
Tonight on News 22, polls indicate an earthquake could be coming in the Texas Senate race.
An NMSU professor is to be featured on the Science Channel.
And NMSU's female athletes speak on how body image affects their lives and careers.
All that and more on News 22 Wednesday.
Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Danielle Gutierrez.
And I'm Victoria Valderrama.
One of the biggest political upsets in the nation could be developing right next door in Texas.
The latest poll in the Senate race there has Democratic Representative Beto O'Rourke 2 points ahead of the incumbent Republican Ted Cruz. In this latest Reuters poll, 47% said they support O'Rourke, 45% chose Cruz. The Senate seat has been held by Republicans since 1993. The two will face off in the first of 3 debates Friday at SMU.
In more political news, the Senate candidates here in New Mexico are kicking off their campaigns through attack ads. Republican Yvette Harrell is being criticized for not disclosing money in state contracts, while Xochitl Torres Small is being linked to radical socialist extremists by her opponent. The Senate Judiciary Committee is trying to figure out what's next in the Brett Kavanaugh Supreme Court hearings.
The woman who says Kavanaugh assaulted her wants the FBI to investigate before she testifies. John Lawrence reports.
Judge Brett Kavanaugh's vote for the Supreme Court was originally scheduled for Thursday, but now Kavanaugh and his accuser, Christine Blasey Ford, are invited to testify about the incident Monday. However,
any talk of a hearing on Monday, frankly, is premature because she just came forward with these allegations.
Ford's legal team wants the FBI to investigate the allegations before testimony is taken. In a letter to Senate Judiciary Committee Chuck Grassley, Ford's lawyers say their client has received harassment and death threats since coming forward.
There must not be a hearing on Monday and then a possible vote on the nominee a day or two after.
But the White House says a federal investigation won't help.
They don't want to be involved. If they wanted to be, I would certainly do that. But as you know, they say this is not really their thing.
Most Republicans still back Kavanaugh, calling the assault claim
an accusation which he has unequivocally denied and which stands at odds with every other piece of the overwhelming positive testimony we've received.
Some in the GOP also say Ford should give her side of the story Monday in front of the Judiciary Committee.
And I really hope that she doesn't pass up that opportunity.
The hearing should be as a result of the investigation. It shouldn't be a substitute for it.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
You know, the weather's been looking pretty cloudy outside.
I know, and Alyssa's next with a first look at weather.
All right, now let's take a look at this time lapse. We took this about 45 minutes before the newscast. This was right outside the KRWG studio. As you can see, the clouds are rolling in. We are expecting some evening showers and we have a 60% chance of rain, so make sure to grab that umbrella. Now let's take a look at our current conditions. So right now we are seeing partly cloudy skies with a temperature of 81 degrees. Winds at 5 miles per hour in the southwest direction, humidity at 32%, dew point at 58, and our barometer sits at 29.51 inches. Today we saw a high of 91 degrees, which is above our average at 87. Our low was at 65. Now let's take it back in time to the year 2005, when we saw a high temperature of a hot 97 degrees, and in 1968 we saw a chilly 46 degrees. Now we haven't seen any rain yet, so our yearly rainfall sits at 3.96 inches. That's all the weather I have for right now. Back to the desk for more news.
NMSU could be getting a large chunk of cash come November if the public agrees. One of the general obligation bonds on the ballot would give NMSU more than $30 million. The money would go towards modernizing the food science security and safety facility, biomedical research center, and the animal feed manufacturing facility. Early voting begins on October 20th. Election day is November 6th. El Paso Electric will soon be closing its office on Solano Drive in Las Cruces. The decision to close the office came after analyzing customer traffic and comparing that to the location on Water Street, which has both walk-in and drive-through services. Customers can also contact EPE customer service representatives by phone at 575-526-5555.
The Las Cruces City Council is weighing in on federal support for public lands. The council voted 5-0, urging Congress to permanently reauthorize and fully fund the Land and Water Conservation Fund. The money is used to conserve irreplaceable lands and improve outdoor recreation in every state. It will expire on September 30th. Since 1965, New Mexico has received more than $312 million from the fund for over 1,200 projects. On Tuesday, the Trump administration made the decision to change a rule that enforces companies to capture methane. But this is not the first time this issue has come up. The Attorney Generals for California and New Mexico filed a lawsuit against Trump's administration before delaying this rule. According to an analysis provided to the Associated Press, all progress from the 2016 rule was lost due to Tuesday's change.
New Mexico wildlife officials want bighorn sheep to be back where they came from. The plan calls for moving sheep into the Sacramento Mountains near Alamogordo. The Sacramentos were part of the sheep's range, but they've been gone from there for 100 years. In 1980, the sheep were listed as endangered, but after 3+ decades of restoration, they were removed from the list in 2011. A public meeting on the plan is tonight in Alamogordo.
Now, on the Science Channel, you can watch an NMSU professor talk about strange occurrences involving bugs. Scott Bundy teaches entomology, the study of bugs, at Skene Hall. His expertise led him to be featured on 3 episodes of Strangest Weather on Earth back in 2015. Bundy understands that while insects might not be everyone's favorite topic like it is for him, he believes there is at least some admiration or interest shown by the general public.
It was a fun way to get some exposure and talk about different insect groups and hopefully get some more exposure for people that are interested in some kind of fascinating things that insects do.
You can catch Scott Bundy on Strange Evidence Season 2, Episode 6, The Beast That Ate Jaws, and Episode 7, Doomsday at Yellowstone, where he deciphers what is occurring in videos featuring strange phenomena. The 3rd episode is scheduled to be aired soon.
The U.S. Justice Department is providing millions of dollars towards public safety programs for Native American women. Deaths and disappearances of Native women are a growing problem. The Justice Department says many strategies are being put into place in hope to help these women. A member of the National Congress of American Indians Task Force says the funding is appreciated but simply not enough. You may think all collegiate athletes are healthy and have good nutrition.
But Michaela Romero finds out the truth behind many female athletes that are swept under the rug.
The click of a watch is what starts the day for Anissa Burciaga. The New Mexico State women's cross country team is out and working hard while most students are still in bed. Anissa never would have thought that her favorite thing to do would lead to negative thoughts. She never had an issue before with body image in high school, but with the pressure of her former college coach pushing her to lose weight, she started to eat less, which did not help her performance.
I was noticing I wasn't as energetic, or I didn't put a lot of work into the workouts that we had because I wasn't eating as much, so my body didn't have enough energy to perform those tasks. So I definitely saw a negative effect.
Raquel Garzon works with athletes like Anissa. She says female athletes can be especially self-conscious about their appearance.
Aesthetic sports where You're looking at people's bodies more, so they're more exposed. For example, swimming and diving, when you're in a swimsuit in front of a lot of people, or there's an underlying expectation that you're a certain weight.
I think when people imagine swimmers, they imagine Michael Phelps and how he's like really tall and cut and fit, but when it comes to female swimmers, it's not always like that.
The issue is that girls in general tend to compare themselves to what they see on social media, and they also compare themselves to each other.
Two totally different body types, right? So to say, oh no, everybody needs to look this way because she won a championship, that's silly.
Not one body is alike in any sport, but one thing a champion does do is take care of themselves by making healthy decisions and choices and refueling their body with the proper nutrition that they need.
We can be tall or short and larger or thinner, and we can still be really good at our sport. So it's important for us to think and remember that no matter what you look like you just have to be healthy and happy, and if that makes you good at your sport, that's what you're here for. And
Raquel Garzon says it's all about performance, and that doesn't have to be associated with weight. Michaela Romero, News 22.
Stay tuned, Alyssa will be back with your national forecast.
But first, it's Baby Safety Awareness Month. More on the best ways to keep those bundles of joy safe when News 22 continues.
At a recent KRWG coffee visit, we talked with KRWG fans about why they value public media.
I enjoy being so informed that I can be on par with my most intelligent relatives.
I love to listen to All Things Considered and Wait, Don't Tell Me. It's so much fun.
Because it's worth 10 times the value of how I support it.
Become a member online at krwg.org or call 1-888-922-5794. Thank you. Registering to vote in New Mexico is easy. Forms are available at Department of Motor Vehicles offices and your county clerk's office. And those with a driver's license or other state ID may register to vote online at sos.state.nm.us. You must be 18 years old at the time of the next election. Voting is a responsibility of citizenship. This message brought to you by KRWG.
Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Wednesday,
where news matters. It's Baby Safety Awareness Month. There are many different ways to protect your child. Getting health insurance is one of them.
Be Well NM was created to help people gain access to affordable health insurance. Counselors and insurance agents are available through the state to help with signing up. To find more information on Be Well NM, New Mexico's health insurance exchange, visit www.bewellnm.com or call 1-833-to-be-well. A little exercise could help a child struggling in school. Being active isn't just good for the body, it can also improve cognitive function.
Louis Casares explains in today's Health Minute.
Being active isn't just for adults. With childhood obesity still a major concern in the U.S., groups like the National Association of Physical Literacy stress the importance of teaching kids to stay active, whether at home or at school, so they can incorporate a healthy lifestyle well into adulthood. According to an associate clinical professor at Harvard, activity breaks during the day can help students become better learners because of the impact of movement on their brain. A recent study published in the journal Pediatrics surveyed more than 10,000 kids between the ages of 4 and 13. The study found that children who get extra physical activity while at school do better in reading and math. The research not only shows that being active can help kids with cognitive function, it can also help with behavioral issues. The Chief Wellness Officer for the National Association of Physical Literacy says if kids are able to get up and move around, they're not going to have so much energy that they disrupt class or their classmates. For today's Health Minute, I'm Louis Casares.
The brother of Mexican-American singing star Selena is set to headline a cancer fundraiser event this weekend. A.B. Quintanilla III will headline La Gran Fiesta this Saturday. This event will be held Friday through Sunday at the Plaza de las Cruces. The event is put on to raise funds for local cancer patients in the Las Cruces and Doña Ana community. Tickets for the event are $25 per person with a meet and greet option for $100.
If you're looking for something fun to do, the Southern New Mexico State Fair returns next week. The annual event returns to the Southern State Fairgrounds on Wednesday the 26th until Sunday, September 30th. The event will include live music, food, vendors, carnival rides, and so much more. You can purchase tickets online at the venue or at participating locations. You can get more information by logging on to snmstatefairgrounds.net. And you know, we have been expecting some rain, and we're going to talk more about that next with Alyssa.
Welcome back. Take a look at this photo. Now this is from Lumber River in Lumberton, North Carolina. This comes after Hurricane Florence brought floods to the area. Now these floods are forcing evacuations in South Carolina, and over 37 people have been killed due to this hurricane. Now let's take a look at my next photo. This happened in Spring Lake, North Carolina. As you can see, floodwaters have reached dangerous heights. Now, there are some flood warnings in place, such as Fayetteville, Wilmington, and Myrtle Beach in the Carolinas. Now, let's take a look at my next map. We'll talk about rain in our area. So this is a tropical storm forming in the Gulf of California. 19E is expected to bring local flooding and isolated mudslides, and that storm will move north into our own area. Let's take a look at my map. Next map, where we can see precipitation in New Mexico. That's all the weather I have for right now. Stick around, I'll talk to you about temperatures in our state.
Fresh Air with Terry Gross, weekday mornings at 11 on 90.7 FM and streaming live on KRWG.org.
Join KRWG Public Media as we kick off our Fall Pledge Drive at the Las Cruces Farmers Market on Saturday, September 22nd, starting at 8 a.m. We'll broadcast live from the Farmers Market, and we'll have live entertainment, so stop by and say hi or tune in for this special Fall Pledge Drive event.
This month in Passport, your on-demand library of the best of PBS.
Is there something you could help me with?
Freeze!
He went down like he was hit with a sack of marbles. I dreamed about flying when I was a kid.
We tell stories of the immigrant experience through food.
The best for the best, man!
These and other shows are available with Passport. Become a member of this PBS station, sign in, and start streaming today.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at temperatures in our state. In Farmington, they are seeing 70 degrees as their current temperature. Clovis at 80, Roswell at 84, Deming at 73, and Las Cruces at 81 degrees. And tomorrow, Gallup is expecting a high of 78 degrees, Albuquerque at 87, Clovis at 77, Las Cruces at 91, and Deming at 76 degrees. And in Alamogordo overnight, they're expecting a low of 69 degrees with some thunderstorms. Tomorrow, 75 degrees and thunderstorms in the evening. In Truth or Consequences, they're expecting an overnight low of 68 degrees with some thunderstorms as well. And tomorrow, 75 degrees is their high with some additional thunderstorms. In Silver City, they're expecting a low of 62 degrees, and tomorrow 71 degrees with some thunderstorms as well. And finally, in Las Cruces, we are expecting a low of 70 degrees, and tomorrow high of 76 degrees with some thunderstorms. That's all the weather I have for right now. Stick around, I'll be back to talk to you about your 5-day forecast.
A California woman is awaiting sentencing after pleading guilty to driving drunk and killing 2 teenage girls.
Here's Kelly Garcia Moreno with today's Southwest Minute.
Prosecutors in Eureka, California say Marcy Kitchen hit 2 14-year-old girls and fled the scene. She later claimed she thought she hit a deer, but the judge didn't believe her. Kitchen's son testified against her, claiming she asked him to lie about the incident and remove evidence from her car. We're looking at shots from a police raid at Conroe, Texas rehab facility. Father Manuel La Rosa Lopez was treated there. He is accused of sexually abusing children at Conroe Church nearly 20 years ago, and police are looking for evidence. He is charged with 4 counts of indecency with a child. He was released from jail on bond and is currently working at a Catholic church in Richmond, Texas. And a county in California is honoring a hometown swimming sensation who could be the next Michael Phelps. Monterey County declared yesterday Superman Clark Kent Apuada Day. 10-year-old Clark Kent Apuada broke a 100-meter butterfly record that Michael Phelps set when he was the same age. But Apuada beat Phelps' record by more than a second. I'm Callie Garcia Moreno with today's Southwest Minute.
So I hear the men's tennis team is doing pretty well.
Really? Well, Kristen Estrada has more on that next with sports.
Thanks, Vicky. Coming up in sports, find out how the women's golf team did at the Ptarmigan Ram Classic. We'll be right back with News 22 Sports.
Steady. Friday at 8 p.m. on KRWG Public Media.
Coming up on Austin City Limits.
Saturday at 9 p.m. on KRWG Public Media.
This is KRWG-TV News 22 Sports.
Welcome back. It's time to kick it with Kristen. The NMSU soccer team is looking to turn around a 3-game losing streak. The Aggies fell to the Lobos on Friday 1-0 after the Lobos scored a penalty kick late in the game. Coach Rob Bartz thought the Aggies had one of their best performances of the year. New Mexico State outshot UNM 21-16, but the Lobos held a 7-5 edge in shots on goal. NMSU will be back at home tomorrow at 4 p.m. to host South Dakota. The NMSU volleyball team is set to open Western Athletic Conference play. The Aggies will be traveling to play California Baptist on Thursday at 8 p.m. and will play CSU Bakersfield on Saturday at 1 p.m. NMSU finished non-conference play with a 10-3 record. Aggie fans will be able to catch the Thursday match on the WAC Digital Network and the Saturday match on ESPN3. The New Mexico State women's golf team is coming off of a strong third round of play at the Ptarmigan Ram Classic. The Aggies finished 4th overall and 26 over par. In the first round, the Aggies shot 304. In the second round, they had a score of 300. And in the third and final round, they shot 286. In the third round, the Aggies finished 2 under par, which helped them go from 8th place to 4th place. The next tournament for the golf team will be the Aggie Invitational on October 8th here at the NMSU Golf Course. The NMSU men's tennis team is coming off of a great season opening tournament. NMSU senior Staheen Dahan was named the singles flight champion after beating out a fellow teammate. This was Dahan's 3rd straight singles title in the Aggie Invitational. Louis Menard and Enrique Asmar were named doubles flight champions after beating Dahan and Benitez. The men's tennis team is now preparing for the Arizona Invitational, which will take place Friday through Sunday. Jamario Jones is making New Mexico State proud. Jones has been working out for the Miami Heat this past week. The Heat have already hit their 20-player limit for training camp, but they typically bring in players early for potential moves to their NBA G League affiliate. Jones went undrafted this year in the NBA draft, but was invited to the G League Invitational last month. And that's all for sports tonight. Join us for more sports action tomorrow. Still ahead on News 22, Alyssa will be back to take a look at your 5-day forecast. But first, some are calling it the fight of the century. But can this rivalry live up to the hype once October rolls around? Find out who faces off in tomorrow's big press conference when News 22 returns.
On Masterpiece.
This is your home now, madame. How can this house of secrets ever be called a home? Things can change.
Perhaps I should just tell them the truth.
You would be signing his death warrant. Is that what you want?
The Miniaturist on Masterpiece.
Thursday at 9 p.m. on KRWG Public Media.
On Wonders of Mexico.
Mountains dominate the country's landscape, and they host an incredible diversity of life. Mountain Worlds on Wonders of Mexico.
Sunday at 2 p.m. on KRWG Public Media.
Let's take a look at our top stories. Texas Democratic Representative Beto O'Rourke is currently in the lead. He is leading 47% to 45% against Republican Representative Ted Cruz. NMSU Professor Scott Bundy will be featured on the Science Channel to talk about bugs. And Michaela Romero talked with NMSU female athletes about their body image and how it affects them.
The UFC is one day away from their first face-off in their biggest event in the company's 25-year history. The promotion's biggest star, Conor McGregor, will face off for the first time against his most anticipated opponent to date tomorrow at 5 p.m. Fight fans have been anticipating the matchup between McGregor and Russian fighter Khabib the Eagle. The two will face off for the first time tomorrow and will fight in the Octagon October 6th on pay-per-view.
Wow, I'm definitely one of those people anticipating it.
Me too.
So, yeah, Alyssa, tell us about our 5-day.
Okay, so tomorrow is the only day we're expecting some thunderstorms. Our high is going to be a chilly 76 degrees and our low at 61. And then the rest of the weekend will start to build up in temperature again. Our highs in the 80s, and then lows in the 50s. So it's going to be a nice weekend for the football game and everything.
Awesome. Yeah, and rain is always good.
Definitely.
And don't forget, you can catch all of today's aired stories and past newscasts on our YouTube page at youtube.com/KRWG News 22.
And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat for show updates and the latest on what the News 22 team is up to.
And that's all for News 22 Wednesday. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Tune in tomorrow for more news from across the Southwest. I'm Victoria Valderrama.
I'm Danielle Gutierrez.
And I'm Alyssa Tejas.
Good night.
Good night.
This news brief in Español is brought to you by Noticias 22, Spanish language news for southern New Mexico and West Texas. Noticias 22.
Hola y bienvenidos a este breve informativo de Noticias 22. Los saluda con mucho gusto Francisco Soto. El representante demócrata Beto O'Rourke se encuentra delante de su oponente Ted Cruz por 2 puntos, de acuerdo a una encuesta reciente de IPSOS que fue realizada el miércoles. Esta es la primera vez que O'Rourke adelantó a Cruz. 47% de los votantes que probablemente voten comentaron a la empresa periodística de Reuters que votaron por O'Rourke. El otro 45% de los votantes comentaron que votarían por Cruz. Una encuesta que fue realizada el martes, que condujo a base de llamadas telefónicas, mostró que Ted Cruz llevaba la delantera por 9 puntos. La encuesta que fue conducida en línea fue la que adelantó a Beto O'Rourke por 2 puntos. En México, en el estado de Jalisco, fue localizado un remolque donde descubrieron más de 100 cuerpos que no han podido ser depositados en los morgues del estado. Esto es causa de que los morgues en el estado se encuentran saturados. El vehículo con los cuerpos se movía entre varios sitios del estado, hasta que fue denunciado por residentes de Tlaquepalque y Tlajomulco. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos el día de hoy. Para Noticias 22, Francisco Soto.
Local support for a portion of today's programming is provided by Wells Fargo. Our support of Aggie students goes beyond just banking. By supporting News 22, we're giving back to the community. Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far.